Hey, Sue Bear here from Clear Pennies, helping you become the CFO of your own company. Now, an important thing to note if you are a CFO of the company would be due dates, right? You want to make sure everything is on time. So get these in your calendar. The personal return for the business, everyone knows April 15th, but you do have until October 15th to actually file the return. But you only have the extended due date until for the filing of the return, not for actually paying the taxes. So we always say that the extended due date is for the paper, not the money, meaning filing the return, but not what you have due. They will give you penalty and interest if you don't pay by April 15th or your normal quarterly estimates. Business returns, you've got corporations, subchapter S's are considered corporations, LLCs, those are all due by March 15th. Isn't that sort of unfair? They make you get it all together by a whole month earlier than the personal return, and business returns are more complicated, but that's the government. So by March 15th, and then you have the extended due date of September 15th. Now, if your state has any type of annual fee that they want you to pay, you're going to have to pay that by March 15th. Once again, the extensions for the paper, not any money that is due. Now, what I'm saying here about the LLCs, you don't have these deadlines to go by unless it's filed on your personal return. What does that mean? If you are the only owner of your LLC, it's actually what's called a disregarded entity. It's sort of a funny name for it, but disregarded entity. And then you can go refer back to the personal return and those deadlines since it's filed on your personal return. You don't have to worry about the March 15th deadline because you don't have a separate form to file. The LLC is filed as part of your personal return and not a separate return. Now, accountants sampled internal due dates. Here's the thing. If your return is due September 15th and it's a business and it's on extension, you're not going to bring it in on September 15th. That would be a no-no. If you're the CFO of your company, you're not going to be doing that. So I say at least a month before, you want to have it in before the deadline. So I would say March 20th is the latest you should bring it in for a personal to get it filed by the April 15th deadline. And then the March 15th deadline at least by February 20th. But if you do some year-end planning with your accountant and you really have your accounting up to date, I mean, you could probably submit it right in the middle of January if everything's all reconciled and set. It's kind of nice to get it out of the way. But you don't have to make these April 15th and March 15th deadlines. It's just nice if you're the kind of person who just wants it off of your back, and you also want to know what you owe, because when you file the actual return, you will know exactly what you owe by those deadlines. But it is sort of nice too. There's a benefit for things being on extension. Your accountant has a little more time to go over things with you, gives you a little more time to get the accounting in order and make sure you have everything, right? So the September 15th to make it for the October 15th, so a month before, give your accountant some time, and then April 5th or August 15th for the September 15th deadline. You want to make sure you have that month for the business as well. Now, other due dates. A lot of times people say, oh, as soon as I have a business, I have to file quarterly. Well, this is what they mean. So if you pay quarterly sales tax, you want to check with your state and see what those due dates are, because they do differ per each state. Some states actually want you to file sales tax monthly. So it's important to note that. Payroll, hopefully you have a payroll service and they're doing everything for you, but here are the due dates on that. So for example, January, February, March is due April 15th. I always say that they give you a month to get it together, right? So the quarter ends March and they give you a whole month to get the payroll in. But you won't be filing your own payroll returns. Please don't do that. Please always get yourself a service and make sure that someone else who really knows these laws and the due dates gets them in for you. But you want to also stay up on it and make sure, if you're, say, doing it through QuickBooks Payroll or other payroll services, to make sure those returns are followed. You're the CFO of your company. You want to make sure all these checks and balances are in place, and you want to make sure your stuff is filed. Now, estimated taxes. This is for your personal return, your quarterly estimates. It's another reason why people say, oh, I have to file quarterly if I'm a business. You're not filing the whole return quarterly. You're estimating roughly how much do I have to pay in at the end of the year. And so actually, I said your taxes are due April 15th, but technically for the prior year, the last payment you should be making is January 15th, and then you'll be filing by April 15th. So this is how the quarterly estimates go. April 15th, and then June 15th, September 15th, and then January of the next year. And that should cover your whole year's worth of taxes. All right, if this you found helpful, then hit the subscribe and like button. Enjoy.